Roblox is home to various different communities and groups, each revolving around specific interests, topics, and activities. These often range from things like roleplays, social hangouts, and much more. With how easy it is to create and join any group, the feature has become a pretty big staple in Roblox's identity and has massively contributed to its overall success. Along with this, the accessibility of said feature allows anyone with a Roblox account to be part of any group they desire. This in itself isn't much of an issue, as Roblox is a kids platform, and thus the communities on it are expected to be innocent and safe for everyone. However, this expectation, sadly, isn't the reality. In reality, there's hundreds of different Roblox groups serving as a hub for degenerates to contact one another, play inappropriate Condo games, and even trade explicit images off-platform. Many of these groups supposedly housing children as young as 11 years old, exposing them to content and people they should never encounter. What makes these groups and the users in them even more disturbing are the tactics they employ to hide in plain sight and to avoid moderation. Instead of using obvious names or descriptions, the creators disguise these groups as innocent ones and frequently say how they follow TOS. Likewise, the users in said groups utilize encoding methods such as Morse code or a Caesar cipher in their bios to communicate their disturbing intentions in hopes of not being detected. From the surface, things might seem normal, but beneath all of it lies a degenerate and depraved community that uses a child's platform to fuel their disturbing and potentially illegal behavior. As I'm sure many of you are aware, the Condo community is Roblox's most notorious and highly criticized groups, with them even getting coverage from general news publications. Condo games are games featuring disgusting and inappropriate content hosted by users off-platform on apps like Discord or TikTok. Roblox has cracked down on Condo games in recent years, with a lot of them being taken down mere minutes after their publication, so the general Condo community uses off-platform apps to share links to inconspicuous games with one another. The subset of people I'm going to be addressing today basically coincide with the Condo community, as they engage in the same behavior, but rather than relying on external apps, these people primarily rely on Roblox, more specifically Roblox groups and alt accounts. For the sake of clarity, I'm going to be separating the general Condo users and the Condo users I'm going to be talking about today into two different categories. The normal Condo players are just going to be called Condo players, while the Condo users I'll be talking about in this video will be labeled as Rondo users. Very creative, I know. So for example, if I say the Rondo community, I'm referencing the people within all these different Roblox groups I'll be talking about. With that made clear, let's see how these Rondo groups operate. To join any Roblox group, all you have to do is find one you like and press the Join Community prompt. To create one, all you have to do is have 100 Robux and fill in the designated fields. There's no restrictions or limitations put in place at all. Rondo players abuse this accessibility and have made literally hundreds of groups specifically made for the purpose of finding other degenerates or even children to engage in disturbing activities with them. These groups are filled with thousands of players, with one having over 6,000 members. I'm not going to list all of these groups, but some of these are RTG, Bunny Winks, Calvin_Klein, Clubs of Brooks, Goddess Stella, the Amazonians of Masaira, Love Has No Limits, Waifus, The Mimes, Femboys, QOH Organization, !Aced, $Aced, and !Sweetheart. These are just a few of the hundreds of currently active Rondo groups, with many of them being up for months or even years. The reason for that is because they usually advertise themselves as something innocent, like a clothing group. For example, both Bunnywinks and Calvin_Klein publicize themselves as a clothing group and actually have clothing for sale, but when you take a look at their other factors, like the roles or messages on the group wall, their true intentions become clear. RTG, for example, has multiple roles, each representing something inappropriate. The two on top symbolizing the terms bull and snow bunny, both words used in an inappropriate connotation. The group wall for this group, surprisingly, isn't filled with as many of the nasty, degenerate things you'll see in other groups, with a few people just telling you to read their bios or to add them. Clubs of Brooks, in contrast, is filled with freaks saying how they want to trade explicit images and how you should add them for a fun time. I honestly don't want to read like any of these, but you're free to do so. Okay, you're free to do so. I'm not gonna stop you. Just be warned, they're pretty bad and disgusting and nasty. The owner of this specific group makes sure to delete all the wall messages after around a week to further hide it from moderation. All the messages being shown off are entirely wiped from the wall. The owner also has this on their favorites page. Ace Sanctuary also has multiple roles, with emojis also representing inappropriate terms. Unlike the other two groups, this group doesn't have their group wall publicly open, and there's a good reason for this. As has made apparent thus far, the Condo community does whatever they can to hide from moderation, and, of course, if their group wall is filled with nasty messages, then it's more likely for it to be taken down. This is why some of these groups don't let anyone speak or use the group wall at all. You might be wondering what the points of these groups are then. How do these people know who to contact or talk to when looking for another degenerate gooner? Well, that's where the member list and usernames come in. If you take a look at any of the aforementioned groups and see the users who dwell in them, you'll immediately understand what purpose these groups serve. Hung 16 years, Hard Bull for Snow, Toy_Kitty, 13-year-old white boy, Underage femboy, Womb filler, Trade tier 23, looking for maps. The last username has the word maps in it, which, for those unaware, literally means a minor attracted person. As you'd assume, many of these are alt accounts specifically made to engage in this degenerate activity, but some people seemingly use their actual primary accounts to dress up their avatar very disgustingly. If any of these accounts ever do get taken down, these Condo players just create new ones and continue doing these same things over and over again. As previously mentioned, many of these Condo groups don't have their group wall public, and the reason for this is because they want to keep what they're doing as discreet as possible in hopes of not alerting Roblox's moderation. So instead of people saying what they're looking for or offering, the owners of these Condo groups want freaks to use another method. The way they want other degenerates to utilize their groups is by cycling through the different members list, seeing the player's username, and adding them based on that. The usernames usually tell you what to expect. For instance, the person named Selling For You most likely sells explicit images of themselves in exchange for Robux or money, while the person named Trade tier 23 is probably looking to trade explicit images. It doesn't end here though, as these users also abuse the about section of their profile to further explain what type of person they're looking for or what they're offering. In regard to bios, Roblox censors conventional inappropriate words like ass or shit, and they even censor words referencing off-platform apps like Discord or Snapchat, which is good and is something they should do. However, things they don't censor are encoded languages, which is why most of these Condo players bypass moderation by utilizing them. The users in these Condo groups primarily employ Caesar cipher or Morse code, sometimes a combination of both, to write just outright disgusting things that I really don't want to read. This way, they can say whatever they want while also hide from Roblox's moderation. Pink692 uses Caesar cipher, and its translation is 13 years old. Actually, no studio, only talk on Discord. Trade if your PP is long. Lover, adult attracted person. I want to be touched. Obedient and submissive. 13-year-old toy for you to stretch uses Morse code, which then translates to Caesar cipher, which then translates to 13-year-old wanna be hard and rough by or anyone really. Furries with big especially. Lover, adult attracted person. I want to be touched. Obedient and submissive. Mom and Dad's L1LB4B1 uses Caesar cipher, which translates to hello, I'm a 13 years old girl. I may sound young like that, but I'm very mature. I love talking with older men's and women's to know more about taboo subject that my parents won't explain to me. I also love having talk about inappropriate subject and learning more about this. So yeah, I'm searching an older adult to teach me all this and also maybe to treat me like a child. like a 5-year-old, and to Kong care of me. Haley teases for you 48 uses Morse code to say, God, I just love being rammed by... Okay, I'm not reading this one. You can have the displeasure of reading this if you choose to do so. Here's a supposed 14-year-old with a Japanese username using Morse code, which translates to, Hi, I'm a curvy girl ready to get... Also not reading this one. Sorry. Pounders uses Caesar cipher to say, seeking a loyal and obedient toy that know their place, can and will be extremely rough aggressive. You will be impregnated, and you will be my dump, and be used for my pleasure. I can't believe I'm reading this, dude. What's going on here? What's happening? Another tactic commonly used by these people is to have 2 separate accounts, one as their main to customize their character, while another newly made alt which has their disgusting bio. Jesse, for example, uses his main to list himself as a 16-year-old feminine boy and tells you to check following. When you do check his following, there's only one user named Jesse's bio, whose about section has a large paragraph written in Caesar cipher. Once decoded, it says, Hi, loser femboy, 16. I sub only. I need an older woman to own me and do whatever they want with me. Kinks/preferences are collaring, choking, hitting, spitting, degrading, or praise. I'm also down for trying anything new that you might like, but no or gross things like that. Ew, 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 ew. Other than that, male or female, I don't mind really. Blonde also uses the same tactic where she links an alt account hosting her bio. Said bio is written in Caesar cipher and translates to this, which I once again refuse to read. These are just a few of the thousands of accounts currently on Roblox that utilize these encoding methods to hide from Roblox's moderation by making it seem like their bio is just incoherent nonsense. Although, not every Rondo player employs this method, as many of them just outright say their degenerate desires by using reference words or emojis. Goonie141, for example, says 18, trading, add for my blue referencing Discord. A 13-year-old white boy just straight up tells you to ask for his Snapchat, where he obviously intends to trade explicit images. Some accounts even act as hubs connecting to other alt accounts in case any of them get deleted. Likewise, some accounts act as a gateway to these degenerate groups in case any of them get deleted, and so players can know which ones to use when searching for other potential Roblox gooners. Something you might have noticed is that a lot of these Rondo users are underage, with their ages ranging from 11 to 17. This transitions this entire scheme from just being degenerate, disgusting, and deplorable to basically illegal. As you saw in many of the descriptions and usernames I showcased, many of the users in these groups are allegedly children who are actively looking for adults. They even use terms like map or minor attracted person and even lover. Now, there's a possibility that these are just people posing as children as some weird kink or something and are just lying about their age, but Roblox is a child's platform, so I don't think it's hard to believe that children are also present in this dangerous space. Pink692 claims to be 13, is willing to trade explicit images, and is attracted to adults. 13-year-old toy for you to stretch also claims to be 13 and also says how he's attracted to adults. Toy_kitty claims to be an 11-year-old. Bunny also claims to be an 11-year-old. 13-year-old white boy claims to be 13. Mom and dad's L1LB4BQ claims to be 13, very mature, and is searching for someone older. Star claims to be 14 and is willing to RP with someone older. This user is named Underage Femboy, so I'm assuming they're underage. Looking for Maps, whose name literally means looking for minor attracted persons, is 16 and, as his name alludes to, wants to play Condo games with someone attracted to minors. Bio, as the name suggests, wants you to read their bio, which provides their age, which is 14, and also their Discord. Decoding the Caesar cipher on the bottom reveals the phrase maps are okay too and might send. Bulky, in his bio, says lower level players welcome, map, so he literally calls himself a minor attracted person. There's also many users selling their time or even explicit images in exchange for Robux or real money. Many of these people being minors as well. Some of these Rondo users who are selling will blatantly say that they're selling, but others use the term wallet as a code word. In the bio of a lot of these people, primarily those who depict women, is the term wallet. They'll say things like add if you're a wallet, pay to use, man equal wallet, non-negotiable, be a wallet, pay to use, and looking for some wallets. This term serves to indicate that the user sells images of themselves, or that they'll play a condo game with you for a price. Many of them primarily take Robux, but some also take real money as a form of payment. Some of them even use the previously mentioned encoded languages to provide their Cash App, like Bouncy Bunny, who uses Morse code to say just very disturbing things, provides her Discord, provides her Cash App, and says how you'll have to be her wallet if you want her to engage in these disturbing activities with you. She ends off with saying nothing is free. Some players even exploit the Game Pass feature of their game to accept Robux as payment, like Doll to Play With, who specifically tells you to buy passes in her bio. When you go to her games tab, there's a game titled I Love You Daddy. The store of said game has multiple passes for sale, with the amount connecting to what explicit image or video you'll get in return. 500 Robux, for example, gets you a Gyat video. Other Rondo users have entire rates listed in their bios for how long they'll play a condo game with you, like this girl, who is literally named Destroy Me. Now, it's bad enough that people are using Roblox, a kids platform, to solicit and engage in these disturbing activities in exchange for a profit, but things get even worse and downright illegal when you take into account that many of these sellers are actually minors. Many of the users who are seeking a wallet are actually minors willing to do anything, primarily for Robux. Slaying Queen, for example, is seeking a wallet. She's allegedly 17 and takes Robux as a form of payment. In return for the payment, she plays condo games with you and is also willing to send explicit images of herself off-platform. She also specifically said, "If you spoil me, I'll be all yours, baby." From an outside perspective, all of this already looks pretty disturbing and even outright illegal, but I wanted to take a deeper look by posing as an underage girl so I can get more first-hand knowledge of how this entire community operates. After making the account, I joined many of the aforementioned Rondo groups, and immediately after, I received multiple friend requests and chats from the users who dwell in them. As expected, they said some pretty disturbing things that, unsurprisingly, don't get censored. Some of them were also, supposedly, underage, but these people don't exactly inspire trust, so they could be lying. Those who said they were over 18 and were made aware of the decoy being 15 were usually fine with it and did not mind, with one even willing to send explicit images. All of this was honestly expected. Degenerates saying degenerate stuff, trying to lead me off platform, disregarding the decoy's age, and more. However, something made clear from these interactions is how these users engage in their disturbing activity on Roblox. As mentioned before, most condo games are immediately taken down within minutes of being uploaded. This was even confirmed by one of the Rondo users himself, where he said how they get taken down every 3 minutes and how they're very hard to find. You might be wondering then how these people access condo games. Well, something you might have noticed in some of the showcased chats and bios are the terms chat, game, and studio. When a user writes something like only chat in their bio, they mean that they're only willing to use the Roblox chat to engage in inappropriate discussions or roleplays. When a user writes something like only game in their bio, this refers to them only willing to play a published condo game. Like I said, condo games get taken down pretty quickly, so these types of players depend on other individuals to find a game or to publish one. The last phrase you'll frequently see in Rondo players' bios is only studio. This refers to the user only willing to use Roblox Studio to engage in this degeneracy, and is probably the most prominent method used by the Rondo community. These users heavily rely on Studio because there's a very low chance of Roblox's moderation being alerted to a Studio game file, and they can also freely say whatever they want since there's no text moderation in Studio. Now, these condo players don't usually make these games themselves. Instead, they share condo game files around. Various different condo game files circulate throughout the Rondo community, so they just download them and use them. As explained by this gooner, he was able to get a studio file of a Condo game by playing with someone else and downloading a copy. Of course, each one of these games vary, but the main thing in common are the various different inappropriate features implemented into them. After some digging, I was able to get one of these place files myself, so we can actually see what these Rondo players do in these Condo games. The game I was given access to was seemingly made by users Yumi and Lunar. Once you enter, you're confronted by this menu screen with some anime girl on the left and a play button. Pressing play spawns you in this small city area with music playing in the background. The settings menu has various different features, like being able to color yourself to another player and enabling music. There's also an enable faces button, which opens up another menu where you can customize your character's face with numerous different inappropriate expressions. The arrow on the left reveals icons, which open up more customization options and features. The first icon represents Morph, which opens up another menu with 5 different buttons. The Customize button allows you to dress your character in several different categories. I can't and don't want to show any of these options, but just know that they're extremely disgusting and make me want to bleach my eyeballs. The Accessories button opens up another menu where you can add head and other accessories to your player, such as a collar. The Colors button opens up a menu where you can change your player's skin color. The Reset Morph button resets all the changes and reverts your player back to normal. Finally, the meow button plays a meow sound. The second icon on the left is for animations, and pressing it opens up a menu with several different gooner animations for your player to perform. Again, I can't and don't want to show any of these, but just know that they make your player do very explicit animations that should not be on Roblox at all. One animation I can show is the gritty, which is here for some reason. The final notable icon is the last one, representing bot settings. Pressing it opens up a menu where you can customize an NPC to your liking for the purpose of engaging in degenerate activity with it. You're able to choose from the same selection of nasty things that were available for your own player. On the bottom left is a teleports button, which opens up a list of several maps such as an apartment, attic, cafe, and castle. All of the maps serve as locations for you to perform disgusting activities in, and are littered with beds, showers, and sofas. Sets of 2 neon seats are also spread around various areas of the maps for you and another player to, once again, engage in Roblox gooning. There's 20 different locations to choose from, each being pretty detailed and well made. Now, ignoring all the disgusting stuff and purpose of the game, it's objectively well made with a good UI system and well made maps put in place. I'm sure a lot of the game is free models, but nonetheless, it's still fully functional and well designed. That's ignoring the content and purpose, like I said. Taking that stuff into account makes me want to buy a rope. It does suck that the 2 people who made this game, Yumi and Lunar, are wasting their possible talents on making this degenerate and disgusting game filled with just garbage and provocative content, instead of making something that, I don't know, could actually benefit them in their life. This game should demonstrate the type of game files actively being circulated around in these degenerate and depraved Rondo groups. These users don't use a simple baseplate or a poorly made map. Rather, they often use these well-made games, which are specifically made to assist in their disturbing behavior. The existence of all these Roblox groups exposes a troubling issue that has most likely persisted for years, victimizing countless minors. Despite Roblox's efforts to moderate inappropriate content and protect children, their approach is obviously failing. The platform's over-reliance on AI moderation and lack of restrictions for children makes it nearly impossible to combat all this degenerate activity. You can't even make the case that this is an isolated issue, as there's countless groups still operating as hubs for freaks and gooners that are hoping to find someone to engage in their degeneracy, and Roblox, seemingly, isn't aware of any of them. This problem extends beyond the simple condo games issue, as minors are being manipulated into sharing explicit images, selling their time and bodies for Robux, and being lured onto external platforms. I hope Roblox becomes aware of all this degenerate and illegal activity literally happening on their platform, and puts better measures in place to get rid of all these Rondo players. As it stands though, hundreds of minors are at risk and continue to be exploited on their platform every single day. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Subscribe, follow my Instagram at BlingMcQueen, and take care.